Patrick was incredibly excited to have his girlfriend Alice move in. They had been dating for about a year, and they felt it was finally time. Things had been going exceptionally well. They quickly became inseparable, and talk of the future had been occurring. The one thing that always stuck out to Patrick, though, was the nightlight. Alice always had a nightlight on at night. Her place, his place, while sleeping, making love, always the nightlight was on its full, brilliant glory. He had tried to shut it off once when he couldn't sleep, and Alice had become panicked, saying she needed it on, that she was scared. He hadn't brought it up since. Her security overshadowed any inconvenience for him. The first few weeks were amazing, relaxing after work together, cooking together, even grocery shopping was better. And every night, when they went to bed, the nightlight's soft yellow glow emanated from the corner. Until the storm came, that is. The storm came through one evening and knocked out the power to Patrick's apartment building. Alice immediately panicked. "Patrick, I need the nightlight. You don't understand," she cried. "I know I don't. It's going to be okay. I'm going to be with you all night," he replied, gently rubbing her upper back. "We could leave a flashlight on if you think that will help." She looked at him, calming but sniffing, and nodded before hugging him. Before bed, Patrick stood the flashlight on its end on his nightstand, its light reflecting off the ceiling. "Are you sure it's going to last all night?" asked Alice. Patrick looked from her to the flashlight. "I think so." "I hope so." Alice trailed off. She fidgeted, still unsettled. Slowly, Alice drifted off to sleep. Patrick found, however, he could not rest. The flashlight was brighter than the nightlight, and his fan was off. This is going to be a long night, he thought to himself as he laid there. He looked to the flashlight briefly, thinking about turning it off, but immediately refused the idea for the woman he loved so dearly. Turning to look at her, he smiled. She was so peaceful, and despite her fear, felt safe. An hour of staring at the ceiling passed before Patrick realized something was wrong. The light was dimmer and fading quickly. He turned and shook the flashlight, a couple of bright flashes coming, but it continued to go out. As the last of the light faded, Patrick gently sighed, defeated. He would do his best to console her if she woke up in the night. He rolled over to face her, her face now bathed in shadow. He studied her face in the darkness. Now, only the dim light of distant streetlights providing the faintest light through the window behind him. His eyes adjusted as he looked at Alice, her skin showing a pale blue. Her eyes, however, appeared deeply obscured in darkness, dark blues fading into blackness. It was vaguely haunting to see her like this. A sudden awareness snapped him out of his thoughts. Her eyes weren't closed anymore. A knot began to slowly form in his stomach. A deep feeling of dread from the primal regions of Patrick's brain screamed that something is wrong. Alice's eyes slowly moved to meet his, the gaze feeling predatory. Her mouth opened, a seemingly bottomless void rimmed with fangs, and a broken, crackling screech emanated from it. Patrick pushed himself backward, tumbling off the edge of the bed. He struck the side of his head on the nightstand, sending the flashlight of his phone flying. He landed hard in the sheet-tangled heap. Patrick, dazed and disoriented, looked up, seeing Alice in a crouched, feral stance on the bed. She tilted her head, looking at him, and made several clicking sounds. She began creeping toward him on all fours, her eyes never leaving his, a throaty growl coming from deep within her. Patrick felt consciousness start to slip from him as Alice's fanged visage came creeping closer. Her mouth opened, her breath hot against his throat, and suddenly, a brilliant light followed by a deafening shriek. Patrick saw Alice reel back, covering her face before he finally passed out. When he woke up, the bedroom lights were on, but Alice was gone. Patrick's head throbbed painfully as he tried to untangle his legs and stand. After freeing himself, he stumbled around, looking for Alice, but only found a note simply saying, "I'm sorry."